Guys, we're back doing a movie of the week.
It's that time of year, guys. It's spooky of the week.
It is
spooky week.
Spooky of the week. So Sam Slade, last time we were here, you recommended The King of Comedy.
No, I said Suburban Sasquatch.
Yeah, last week you recommended Suburban Sasquatch. It sounded a lot like King of Comedy, but those two titles are very similar sounding.
No, that movie sounds old and stupid. I don't know why.
It is old and stupid.
Well, they often put them in like
it.
a double feature thing at a lot of movie
King of
stores because they're
Comedy
so
and Suburban
similar.
Sasquatch.
Well, they're very similar films. Yeah, one is a
both
high
made by auteurs.
one is a high art piece.
And the other one's King of Comedy.
But yeah, why did we watch Suburban Sasquatch?
It's spooky of the week. It might be the only
It's
spooky of the week we do.
We haven't done, a video in a long time, but like Spooky of the Week brought us back.
Yeah, it's our one tradition here, the one thing we try to uphold every single year that we've had this YouTube channel is Spooky of the Week. And that's what we're doing.
It's what the people love.
It is what people do love it. I mean, like, look,
For every month.
Every week of the month, we're gonna have a new spooky. This week, it's Suburban Sasquatch. Next week, it's gonna be something else. I'm doing the thing that Bigfoot does in Suburban.
I see the two battles you will win.
What if I tell you I can get you a story you want to believe?
You want your prize? Then help me get mine.
I saw. One way or another, people will hear. She's gone.
Fate is something no one can change.
Are you all right?
What's going on? Just try! All right. Oh my God, what are you having?
And I just don't understand. Why can't we open up this case? Get some help. Alert people. Leave it be.
An actual bit of backstory is I was watching some old Red Letter Media video. I don't know if you guys have heard of this smaller channel, Red Letter Media. They're very similar to us. Like, they have some videos that like are definitely ripping our style a little bit.
Yeah, they're definitely ripping our style.
But it's okay because they're funny. Like, I'm cool with it. I'm sure.
Like, they get more views than us, and like.
Yeah, but who cares?
It's only because they're funnier.
They had a video where they talked about Suburban Sasquatch, and I started watching it forever ago, and then within 5 minutes of the video, I was like, I'm turning this off because I want to see this movie. And so, like 2 weeks ago, less than that, it was like a week and a half ago, I was watching some of their videos and I remembered it. I was like, oh, I should just see where you can get Suburban Sasquatches. So I bought it on the director's website. From stuff that I had read, it said that it wasn't going to come for months. The other day, it surprised me by coming in the mail just 2 weeks after I ordered it. And we were supposed to be writing a feature film, and I was like, why don't we fuck that and watch Suburban Sasquatch?
We did, and it is the longest hour-and-a-half movie I've ever seen.
Was it only an hour and a half? I thought it was 4.5 hours.
So it's not. It is a really good bad movie. It feels its length in a lot of scenes, though.
Well, it's because their individual scenes are so long in this movie, like
especially towards the end.
Yeah, well,
they get longer as the movie goes along.
So I mean, spoilers doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The people watching this are watching it because they saw Suburban Sasquatch.
Well, no, people are watching this because they saw the Red Letter Media video about Suburban Sasquatch, and then they Googled Suburban Sasquatch again, and then they went down 10 pages and they found this video somehow.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Yeah, so welcome people that
you know how to scroll through a channel.
God, do you know how to scroll?
I did not see any of the Red Letter Media video. I had just heard of it, like as a movie. I had just heard of it, and I knew that Red Letter Media had talked about it, and so I was like, well, they're a smaller channel. I mean, I might as well give it a shot.
They need the shout out.
They need the shout out after all. So I go into it not knowing a whole lot about it, other than the title, which is kind of all you need to know. Only to be surprised by how bad it was.
I'm still reeling from it, dude.
It's very.
I think it put my brain in a microwave.
Yeah, I think it killed my day. Like, I don't think I'm gonna function properly for the rest of the day.
It is unlike anything I've ever seen.
Like, it's hard to describe that a movie makes your brain feel like it was put into a microwave, but that is how this movie has made me feel. Like,
yes.
when it ended, I just sat there for a second. I was like, oh my god.
It was like I was in a daze. I couldn't not look at the screen
But
I was
also
probably
didn't wanna
the
look at
most
screen.
engrossed in this movie than I have been in most movies ever.
Yes.
Like I was just like glued to the screen, like what will happen next.
Well, one thing to
because-
say, this is a true bad movie. Like
Yes.
it has its credentials. This is not an asylum film such as Tomb Invader.
No.
This is a
It is no Tomb
real
Invader.
bad movie made by
it's not
artists.
even, yeah, it's not even a weird cult movie like
Like The Room.
like The
or-
Room, where it's like, okay, well, I mean, at least the Room is like you can see what's
No,
going on.
this is a backyard made with a VHS tape camera.
in 2004,
in
a year after The
2004.
Room.
With some weird little After Effects sprinkled in there.
Oh my
a
god.
lot of weird effects.
We could spend
in
an hour
there.
just talking about the various weird.
But
There's so much throughout the movie. Okay, so you'll be watching it, and there'll be a shot of Bigfoot. And Bigfoot teleports in this movie, by the way, in case
He
you
has
didn't
teleportation powers
disappears
new
into
to.
thin
know. And so sometimes they'll fuck up the teleportation shot or something, so they have to mask around Bigfoot. Like there's one shot where he's on a balcony and he's teleporting to kill this woman or something, and like half of his body is like a still frame, and then the other half is moving. It looks awful.
oh, it looks so terrible.
Sometimes they have to digitally make Bigfoot's foot bigger. I think.
Oh yeah, there's a
That
CG
happened in one
overlay of a
particular
foot
scene?
for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why
Show
that's
that-
there.
Show that stupid clip.
Okay, so Sam Slade, since you recommended
I did.
Suburban Sasquatch, why did you suggest it, and also give an overview of the plot?
So I saw that Red Letter Media video, and I saw just a little bit of it, and it was basically just the first scene. And seeing that, I was like, well, I have to see that. And it was just a bunch of like stupid, like dumpy props that like you'd find at like limbs that you'd find at a Party City.
Yeah.
Just being flung in the air.
I think those looked worse than anything I've seen at a party city.
god.
And it was like, this is a graphic murder that is happening. It's just this Bigfoot throwing limbs in the air, and it's like, and he's like, and he gets his arms ripped off. So the plot, though, there's several different,
threading storylines.
stories.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah,
Magnolia.
It's very deep.
It's like
very
Magnolia.
layered.
Yeah, it's layered. Like, it's not just a story of one person's journey. It's a story of several people's journey.
Yes.
Most of them die.
Yes.
And
Many of them.
one of them
One
literally
of them just
doesn't go anywhere.
disappears. Like he's in the movie and then he's not.
So
Dave's friend.
Suburban Sasquatch is Bigfoot. Spoiler, is Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And he's killing everybody
Bigfoot, no.
in the suburban areas of possibly Virginia. And
Which how can
there's
he be there?
there's a bunch of human characters that we relate to that are happening at the same time.
A big point of this movie is a lot of characters questioning how bizarre it is that Bigfoot has showed up
They're like, not here where we
in
live.
Virginia for whatever. I have no idea why this is something the movie clung
Like, instead of
onto.
just being like, oh, Bigfoot's not real, I'm not going to believe you. It's like, Bigfoot's not real and he wouldn't be here.
Bigfoot-
idiot.
And now there's one in good old Woodstown, Pennsylvania. I thought this thing was seen in places like Bluff Creek, California, and Oregon.
Bigfoot can appear anywhere. The Thunderbird guided me.
I see.
That just doesn't
Not
make
in
sense.
suburban areas. So Suburban Sasquatch is killing a bunch of people, and the cops are like baffled. They're like,
How is this happening?
I bet you a cougar did this, or a bear. No way there was a bear. But bears are insane also. And then at the same time, one of the cop's friends is a writer.
What if I
trying
told
to
you
write
I
a
could
story.
get you an amazing story? What is it, a bear?
Yeah, what is it, a bear? He's really our main character, is this writer guy. Who's,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
our main character.
guess
dude.
so.
And all he
He's-
wants in the whole movie is
He's a very young guy. He's the youngest.
He's the youngest man. So
He's the youngest 42-year-old
look,
ever.
Look at this man. This is a young man.
He's very young.
That is a young man.
And they keep saying how young he is, and that he's just this like hot-headed like writer who's trying to break this huge story. And he's like, he has no
seem very
idea.
hot-headed.
He also has no idea what he's doing. Like the whole time he's like, I'm gonna go find the story, and then he's like, I'm not looking for this story at all. Like whenever like things hit him in the face, where it's like, look at that Sasquatch running through the city. He's like, man, like I just had nothing to write about here. Like I know like the police are covering up murders. And it's like that's
He's very worried about the police coming.
and I
very
said this while
worried
we were
about the
watching
police
this,
coming
like
up
his whole
murders.
thing that he thinks like his like several plots about like people trying to uncover things are very similar, where they have the real thing that's happening, but the people trying to figure it out don't have the real story.
Yeah.
So they do that. It's like, oh, he's misled. His whole thing is that he thinks the cops are covering up murders and have this conspiracy where he knows there's two cops in the whole
Yeah. So
entire
there
city.
is only two cops.
and he's
we have
best
that
friends
theory.
with one of them. So how could there really be this big conspiracy
yeah,
happening?
he is basically saying that the other cop in the town out of the two
Is
is covering up murders.
covering up murders, and that's the story.
Yes. That's the story he's looking for.
And then even after seeing Bigfoot, he's like,
Who cares about that bear?
Like Bigfoot's not real though. Like,
That,
what
that
are you
would
even
be
doing?
Stupid. He sees this. Oh, and so then we have our female.
So yeah, I was gonna
lead.
say we have that storyline. Then we have our female lead. She's, also relatable, and
Yes,
we
very
we
relatable.
follow her, and she's
How do we get
destined-
introduced to this female character?
oh, so an old man pretending to be a Native American, clearly a white man,
He's
is
cutting to a close up of his gross mouth.
yeah.
Yep.
Even though we see him in full frame, other shots, he's like, your destiny is to kill Suburban Sasquatch,
Yes.
and she's like, I will do that. I will kill Suburban Sasquatch. And
She's
she
like,
gets
it
her
will be
bow and
easy.
arrow.
He's like, but it won't be too easy. He's like, don't be too hard. And she's like, okay, fine.
Then it will be the hardest thing I've ever done. He's like, okay, well, that's not the right anyways. And then she leaves.
Yeah. He keeps going back on it. He's like, it will be the hardest thing you've ever. She's like, it will be the hardest thing I've ever. He's like, but you are destined to do it.
It will be easy, father.
Like no one else will do it. And she's like, okay, so then it'll be easy.
No one else can do it.
It's like, no one else can do it. And then someone else does it at the end, and she does nothing.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
spoiler. So the whole time she shoots about 1,000 arrows into Bigfoot, makes
Yeah.
him bleed to death several times.
Yeah.
1,000
Doesn't kill
CGI
him.
Yeah.
arrows.
Eventually, the main character, writer guy, pulls up the bow and arrow. His first shot ever shoots Bigfoot in the chest, and Bigfoot explodes.
Explodes. Yes, with lightning. And that it's not like that was the first time Bigfoot was hit in the chest, because he was hit in the chest at least 2 times
Yes,
before that.
But that one was in
But
the
that
heart.
arrow was shot by the main character, and
Yes.
so it killed Bigfoot.
Even though he was not the destined.
So
one
I want
do
to
it.
take a second to talk.
Hold on, we're not done introducing our characters. So we also have the
no,
cop characters.
I was literally about to segue into the cop
the
characters.
cop
Sam,
characters, dude. So
Sam,
one is the writer's best friend,
sorry. Yes, yes.
and the other one is a fat guy who has a tragic past where Bigfoot
and
killed his
also a
wife.
gross like skid
Oh
mark
my
on his
god!
chin.
I
Yes.
love that flash.
So you
That
it's like
flashback
classic
is so
story. Like
amazing.
one cop's like, I think there's something crazy going on. The other cop's like, no, it's just normal murders or a bear. Just regular
cop
Virginia
drama.
life.
Regular cop drama.
And then eventually the cop who's like skeptical and thinks it's just a bear or murders is like, I gotta tell you though, my wife was killed by Bigfoot. I was trying to escape him this whole time. Bigfoot's real. I know for 100% fact that these people are being murdered by Bigfoot because my wife was killed by Bigfoot. And you're like, where did that come from halfway through the movie?
and then you get an awesome flashback.
You get a sweet flashback revealing all this.
Also, that whole plotline with his wife getting killed never gets pay off because we never see the cop's reaction to Bigfoot dying. We just see them try to kill Bigfoot and he blows up a tank or something, and then after he's like, "We've
Is that
done
the
all
last
we."
time we see the
That's
cops?
the last
Yeah.
time we see those
Oh my
cops.
And they
God.
say that's all we can do.
And then they leave, and then you never see the cops again.
No.
Yep, that's it.
Horrible cop uniforms too. They just put like brown.
They put brown
Cloth?
paper.
brown
Even over the
cardboard
ties.
paper.
They
Yeah.
didn't even buy
that
brown
was the
ties.
thing. So that was the thing that killed me. Kevin pointed out that like the cops' uniforms were just brown shirts with like brown cut out paper
they
on
just
it.
put brown cutout
And then
paper
and then
on their
Sam Slade
shoulders
pointed
on
out that it was
flat.
also the ties, and then
On the inside of the ties are regular striped ties,
regular
but
striped
they
ties.
put brown over them.
and that killed my brain.
Why didn't they just get brown ties?
I don't know.
They're
dude.
not expensive.
It's Virginia, dude.
And also,
Like,
you're only getting 2 of them if you're gonna have 2
they
cop
had,
characters.
they had to make those ties, dude. It's Virginia. Like they don't have
They don't
stores
have
there.
Goodwill at Virginia?
No, of
I'm
course.
sure they do.
They had to drive
Or
all.
Walmart. Okay, and then there's the overarching random scenes where characters just get killed. So
Yes.
every
yeah, they
every scene is the
introduce
same though.
characters.
So they'll introduce 2 characters.
This
They'll
is
hear
literally
it. I'm
every
not kidding.
scene.
This happens at least 6 times.
You could play a drinking game with this. Every time there's a scene where 2 characters.
So 2 characters walk around in the forest. Either they're fishing or they're walking.
They're doing
or
something.
They're, doing
they're
something.
driving.
They hear a noise. So that could be any noise. And they both hear it. They both hear it. And one of them goes, "Oh my dad is Bigfoot."
When can we open
And
up
is
this?
like freaking out, like something is gonna kill us, like
Like
something
they
crazy is
actually
out
know
there.
it's Bigfoot.
Like they don't ever say
Sometimes
Bigfoot, but
they're
they're like,
also-
I don't know, but a monster's out there.
Sometimes they're also just
No,
in their
well,
apartment.
One girl thought it was Bigfoot. She's like, I don't know. I mean, we're in the forest. I mean, normally like
Yeah.
spotting.
And then the other one's like, no, we're in Virginia. Bigfoot would never be here.
But yeah, and then the other person, every single time that happens, the other person just goes, "It's nothing. It's probably just a bear or something. It's nothing." And then they get
We're in
killed.
Virginia. It can't be Bigfoot.
And they both get ripped apart by
Also,
Bigfoot.
Literally
like
ripped
3
apart.
of those different storylines like have the same point in the chase where one character's
One
being
character's
killed,
being ripped
and then
apart
the
and
other
the other
character
one-
looks at him and says, "Anna," and then it just keeps running. Just turns back and is like,
There's also a point where there is a survivor, typically, like of the 2 guys. One of them actually being the writer and director of the movie, Dave,
"Dave,
and
Dave."
and the other guy all he does is he rips the arms off of Dave,
And then he throws them.
He throws it at the other guy, and he hits him in the head, bonk,
And then he
just
passes
falls,
out.
He just falls out in the water.
funny thing
backwards
about,
into
funny
the
thing about
water,
that
and
guy
then
that
he survives.
Yeah, funny thing about that guy that falls in the water is you see him like, so the scene that he and Dave get attacked, he falls in the water backwards, so like his head is above water, or his mouth is above water, and then it cuts back to him like maybe 10 minutes
Just
later,
head
and
completely
he is
in the
floating
mud.
face down in water. And you're
Floating
like, oh
there.
my god, he has to have drowned. Like, that guy cannot have survived being passed out face down in the water.
And
And
he
then
just
he
gets-
wakes up.
And then he wakes
he's
up without
fine.
coughing.
Yeah, he's
or
not
anything.
coughing or going.
No, he just wakes up
He's
and
just
goes
like.
He's also,
Oh wow, I was
he's also
Dave?
dry in the next shot.
Oh yeah, in the next shot, his clothes are all dry.
And then you think
then
maybe
you never
he's
see
going to
the
be a character, but he disappears.
Yeah, no, you see him in one more scene after that where he's afraid of Bigfoot, and he tells a cop who knows Bigfoot exists, there's Bigfoot out there. He's like, no, it's not. No, he's not.
Bigfoot could never be here.
And then he's never seen again.
Which
Oh
actually makes sense for that cop character to say that.
Yes,
Say that
yeah, 'cause
Bigfoot
that-
could not be here because he
He
escaped
used to
Bigfoot.
live where Bigfoot was originally.
That's not possible.
That's not possible. We're in Virginia. Bigfoot doesn't live in Virginia.
So the meat
I
and
went to the one
potatoes of the
place
story.
Bigfoot would never go.
The meat and potatoes of the story is the writer guy teams up with the Pocahontas lady to fight Bigfoot, and he's just trying to get a story, but he doesn't really believe.
Pocahontas lady who showed up in her jammies.
Yeah,
for
she
half
showed
of
up
the
in her
shoot.
jammies for most of the shoot.
It's just
He's
white
following
clothes.
around. She fully is like, yeah, Bigfoot's real. I am destined to
I
kill
am
him.
a hunter. I am born.
And
to
he's like,
kill.
what are you talking about? Suburban Sasquatch isn't real. Even though
He's
he's
just a
seen
bear.
her. He's
Like,
just seen him.
I just saw him teleporting.
Yeah, he saw
I don't
him
believe in
teleport.
him.
And he's like, I'm pretty skeptical about the Suburban Sasquatch thing you keep telling me about. I don't believe you at all. And he starts crapping on her religion
He's
for
like- he's like,
an
right,
hour of the
magic.
movie. And he's like, right, magic. And then they fall in love like immediately after that. And I'm like, how did
Immediately
it?
after.
Like the whole time he was like, listen,
Well,
like
they love each other.
everyone knows like that's just
When someone just craps on your belief for a full day,
like
you
even,
do not,
whoever you are, it's just like
you
he's
do not love them by the end
just
of
like
it.
he just the whole day is like, you're such a dummy for believing in that Suburban Sasquatch.
Anyway, let's fuck.
And then she's like, we should, yeah,
That's a
we
good
should
idea.
get
We
married
should have
forever.
sex.
She said, but I can't because I'm a warrior and I need to fight things like
She needs to fight
Bigfoot
other because
forever.
forever.
Something else that
And he's like, no, you have to settle down with me. And she's like, I want to, but I can't. And he's like, okay, well then I'll come with you. She's like, oh, but that's different. It's like that's literally the same thing. Like that's oh my god.
Something else that I picked up on, or that I believe, is the writer character. He has this one argument, random scene in a bar with a character that we only see once. He shows up to this bar and his friend
Never make it.
that is clearly younger than him. He sits down and they have a conversation, and for no reason the younger guy is like, I don't know why you're trying to be a writer. You should quit on your dreams. You should not try to be a writer in the big city. You should try to settle down and do something that is more
normal. Be a blacksmith.
And
or
so I was watching that and I was like, that is clearly like a conversation that the director had with like his mom or something, like 2
I'll
weeks
show you,
before.
Mom. Everyone's gonna love Suburban Sasquatch.
Yeah, like it seems so obvious that he was writing that as a fuck you to whoever told him that he would never make it in Hollywood and never be a filmmaker.
And then he never did.
And then, well, he made 10 movies or whatever.
5.
Half of 10.
I don't even know if I count these as movies. Like, anyways, I mean, he knows some After Effects. There's that.
Yeah, there's that. More special effects than unsubscribe.
This writer guy is following this Native American lady around,
Who's born to kill Bigfoot.
and there are several scenes of her chasing after
Remember-
finding Bigfoot and shooting him with
Damn
arrows,
it!
and then Bigfoot runs away because Bigfoot's scared of being killed by this woman. And then even after seeing all this, he keeps being like, "There's no way you could defeat Bigfoot."
The best one of those is the first time she meets Bigfoot, her big first confrontation with the Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Is she runs up to him. It's just after 2 women have been killed, and she runs after him, and she fires an arrow. It's a stupid like CG
It's always a
JPEG.
CG arrow.
CG
because
arrow.
they were afraid of firing real arrows or something. But it's a
Even though there's
stupid-
real arrows in her bow.
This stupid fake arrow hits Bigfoot right in the arm, and he starts running away. They're like what 10 feet away from each other. Bigfoot turns around and starts running away, and she stands there and looks at him and watches him run away, and she's like, "Damn it!"
And it just cuts to him running in an open field.
Yeah, he's
for like
running
10
down
minutes.
an open field, and you're like,
And she's
"Why are you
watching him.
chasing after him?"
Bigfoot also decides not to teleport here for whatever reason.
Well, he hasn't started teleporting yet.
Yes, Bigfoot's teleporting powers don't come in until like 20 minutes into the film, or
Well,
2 hours.
More
Why
than
were the
that.
cop characters in the movie at all? Like they had several scenes that affected nothing.
It's probably because the director knew someone with an old cop car that he could use.
And also the not so skeptical cop. He's in a cop car and he sees Bigfoot, and Bigfoot picks up the cop car and throws it really far into the exact same.
Remember
location.
that house that Bigfoot just throws boulders at for no reason?
So Bigfoot brought a bunch of like perfect boulders.
He brought 2 perfect boulders
to throw at this lady's house, and she's like, "What's happening outside? There's boulders being thrown at my house."
This lady walks outside and she's like, "What's going on out here?"
And she's like, Bigfoot!
And then the Native American chick runs up and she's like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of this." And the woman looks at her and goes like, "Okay."
Yeah, she's like, "Step aside, I'm destined to kill Suburban Sasquatch."
And they have this like weird look of understanding, like, "Oh, I know."
Yes, and she runs back
this.
inside and she's like, "I'm gonna watch her fight Suburban Sasquatch." And she starts shooting arrows, and again, Bigfoot runs away because he's like, "She's gonna freaking kill me! She's destined to kill me!" And every single time she fights him, the guy grows more skeptical that he can beat her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though he runs away every time, like I would think, like you got him on the ropes.
He also proves at the end of the movie that killing Bigfoot is the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, he does it on his first try.
Yeah, his first arrow.
He does.
It really just takes a man's strength to kill Bigfoot.
That is what that movie was saying. Like that, the girl was destined to kill Bigfoot, and then a man stepped in.
Yeah, a man stepped in and
was like, "This is my destiny now."
It's not only is it a man, it's a white man stealing it from a Native American.
It's so deep.
She's also not very Native American.
The old white man comes in and completely takes away all.
Oh my God!
Everything.
It's about cultural appropriation.
He really hates Native Americans. He's like, your religion is stupid and makes no sense.
This
I will
so
kill him.
deep. It's a commentary on cultural appropriation and how we took
Oh my
the
gosh,
Native.
it makes so much sense.
So this movie is actually a really deep film about how the white man came into the Americas and stole the culture of the Native American people.
Yes.
It's a very deep film.
To defeat the true villain.
Every effect is
Bigfoot.
so great though. Like every time like a person's leg gets ripped off and then their leg shows up again later on the same person.
Oh, on the same person.
It's great.
And then after stealing her culture and killing Bigfoot for her, she still decides to have sex with him. She's like, "Yes, let's run off to..." After begging, he pretty much gets on his knees and begs
I'm not
at the
kidding
end.
you. The climax of this movie is this guy begging for sex.
Wait, stay with me. Oh, this story was going to make me big. You know, maybe if you stay just for a little while, we can move to another town, and I can make enough money, and you can go off when you need to, and we can start a new life.
So he kills Bigfoot.
He's like,
and she's
"Please,
like,
let's have children."
And she's like, "I've fulfilled my destiny killing Suburban Sasquatch." She's like,
Even
"Well,
though
I
she
mean, I
hasn't
didn't." And
killed
she
him.
didn't kill him at all. And then
She
she's
didn't
like,
kill him at all.
"I have to go and continue fighting other mythical creatures.
I wonder
I
if
can
they're
never
setting up
see you
for a
again."
franchise.
Probably. And then he's like, "No, you can't go. I love you." And she's like, "I love you too, but I have to do this. This is my destiny." And you first like, "What?"
You're like, "Wait, Bigfoot's gone. How many of these things are there?
And
Are
then
there
she's
more
like, "Here,
Bigfoots?"
take this turtle."
Yeah, she gives him a turtle.
He's like,
Yeah,
"I
she
don't want a
gives him
turtle.
one
I want
turtle.
you."
He's like,
and
"Fuck
then
your
and then
turtle."
he just like is like, "I need to be with you no matter what." And he's like, "I'm gonna give up my dream of writing, which is all I've done this whole time." Well, because he goes to his boss or whatever and keeps going, "I don't know how to write. I don't know what to do." Even though he's got Suburban Sasquatch in his sights.
Remember that first scene in the newsroom where he's like, "I have to find. I'm going to try. I want to try to find this story." And the boss is like, "No, you can't do that. You have to find the story."
He's like, "Writing is done here. You need to stay here and not go out." He's like, "But
the story's out there." He's like, "You got to be more ambitious and find that story."
Well, then you gotta find that story. He's like, "But I don't think I can find the story." Well, then you need to try harder and stay in here.
This is why you'll never make
it's like, it's just, we're going in circles. It's just like
They weren't even going in circles. It was like a half circle, and then there was like scribbles, and then it just died in the middle.
Yeah, but that guy has donkey brain though. Like that main
Yeah.
character, I think he's written to have donkey brain.
I agree. He is also, yes, he is written to have donkey brain.
And at the end, he doesn't write anything, and that's not really resolved at all because apparently he
just goes into the sunset and then a bird flies into the camera.
Oh, and yeah, that's the last shot.
In a
CGI
Wonder Woman
bird.
inspired last shot, or maybe Wonder Woman was inspired by Suburban Sasquatch.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Me neither. I actually wouldn't. I'm pretty sure that was Gal Gadot as the lead Indian chick.
I wish.
All right.
Also, a bunch of hick guys, they throw a net on Bigfoot.
Oh yeah,
and the net turns CGI.
They steal a scene from Bigfoot confirmed 3, 4, or 3, 5, or 7.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be 3, dude. And those hicks all get ripped apart.
Oh yeah, no, they get ripped apart. They all die anyway.
Also, so the main character, I just realized this. The main character, best friends with the cop guy, is finding new information about Suburban Sasquatch and all that. Doesn't tell him that there are like rules into fighting Bigfoot, like you can't kill him without a special sapphire arrow or whatever.
Yes.
or whatever it is.
Yeah, he doesn't
He doesn't
let
tell
him
him
know.
any of this, so he just lets his cop friend send all of his friends to get murdered.
Yes. Well, they
I
weren't.
just realized that. Like, he
they
could have
weren't
completely
really
prevented that.
They weren't really communicating very
Even
well.
though every single time something
They
happened, the
literally
cop guy
didn't-
would let him know because he's a good
Well,
friend. He was like,
call
hey,
him-
do you want to
he would
know?
call him from the same exact location in the woods.
He'd be like, hey, bro, dude, like, hey, like, I know you're
Another
trying to write
Bigfoot
this story. There's
thing
another
happened.
story. I'm going to give you more information. This Bigfoot thing's happening. Anytime something he learned about Bigfoot, he wouldn't tell his cop friend. It's a one-way street, dude. He wouldn't tell him anything.
Oh my gosh, he actually didn't say anything after he's like, "Hey, come over here in the middle of nowhere. Here's a gun. That's my last tip," and then he never sees him again.
It's really like a Bigfoot neo-noir. All right, so any final thoughts on Bigfoot
If you're
confirmed
able
3
to see
Suburban
it, you
Sasquatch?
should see it if you're able to see it.
So if you here's what
If
I'm
you're
gonna
watching this, I'm guessing you're all right with watching bad.
Yeah,
movies.
and I'm assuming we're putting in like clips
Yeah,
from it.
yeah. If you like bad movies, which we fucking love bad movies,
It's an hour and a half of that.
It is great.
It's great. It's highly enjoyable.
It's different from
Terrible.
The
Bigfoot makes
Room.
the same sound effect every single time he comes
So
into play.
here's what I will say about it. So like The Room and like Neil Breen movies, you can tell that those people had money behind them. Like Neil Breen, for all it's like he
Had
still
some money, yeah.
he still has some money in his movies, progressively more as it goes. Tom Wiseau had $6 million. These guys clearly had nothing. And
Yeah.
they were
Absolutely
still
nothing.
able to put together an it's not an actual movie, but they put together an hour and a half
together a
of
movie.
footage.
So there you go.
Yeah,
It's
there-
edited
it's
together.
It is.
There's some
not-
really weird editing
There's some
choices.
awful editing.
Remember the
Oh yeah, there's that shot.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
you stay here.
Kevin
You
fucking
stay
lost it when that happened.
That was so funny. It was
hilarious.
Just a close-up shot. Yeah, we'll put it in of him poking him in the shirt and be like, "You stay out of here." And I died. I died.
There's also this really funny
the
shot
funniest shot
early
of all
on when this girl is running to her car and she's like trying to unlock and she's like and then it cuts to a completely different shot. So anyway, Kevin, I believe it is your turn to suggest a film.
All right, so Apostle.
Gareth Edwards' brother, Gareth Evans, directed it.
Yep, Gareth Evans, the director of the Raid 1 and the Raid 2.
We're jumping on that
All right.
that sweet Apostle quiche.
What was this brought to you by?
Oh, this episode was brought to you by by Nubbins.
You gotta take that off your microphone if you want to screw it in. Nubbins.
Yes, that's something that no one
It's
will.
a thing that you have to take off.
Of these specific microphones,
Yes.
if you want to screw it onto a
Brought to
different
you by this.
mic stand, this is not something that anyone will.
Honestly, it should be brought to you by Dan Aykroyd Vodka, and it should always be brought to you by Dan Aykroyd Vodka forever and ever and
This
ever.
episode, I'm gonna give a shout out again to that small channel, Red Letter Media.
Yeah,
They-
you know, they really need, send us some support.
Yeah, send some love. You know, you've got like, don't crash their channel or anything, guys. But
don't be saying a bunch of embarrassing stuff like Uncle Mickey sent us.
Yeah, like,
that's just
that's super embarrassing. Wow.
they're gonna know we did it.
They're
you
gonna
know.
know. Yeah, they're gonna know. Like, wow. Like, don't say that.